Hi, this is not going to be a usual video, and it's not geared to please the algorithm or anything like that. This is just a video to reflect on my first year creating YouTube videos, and to say thank you to all the people that have watched in this past 12 months. I say 12 months, it's probably been about 9 months, all truth being told. I think I started in April. But I put the wheels in motion around this time last year. And I just was thinking yesterday about, just reflecting back and thinking about the year and thinking about, has it all been worth it? And I wanted to make this video to say thank you to the people that have watched, and I'll come on to that in just a moment. But to anyone that's watching this that hasn't started their channel yet and maybe is thinking that, 2026 is going to be the year that they do it, I would say that you should do it. I think I've enjoyed this year. There has been highs and lows. There's been times where I felt like quitting. But I look back at it and go, has it been worth it? And I think it has. And the reason for that is because I just enjoy the creative process. I've always been a creative person. And I said at the end of last year that in 2025 I wanted to create more and consume less. And I've done that. I've stuck to that. I do still consume. Obviously, I still watch a lot of YouTube videos. But I'm spending less time on social media. And I think that's a good thing. And I've committed, I've up until the last few weeks, I've been publishing at least one video a week, sometimes more than that. So I've been disciplined and I've stuck to it. But I think I probably wouldn't have stuck to it if I didn't enjoy that creative process. So if you are a creative and you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I would say definitely go for it because you won't regret it. If you are someone who thinks that YouTube would be an easy route to kind of passive income and generating income, it's not easy. I've not made a single dollar from YouTube since I've started. So I've amassed almost 400 subscribers. I've had about 13,500 views. Now, they're not insignificant numbers, but obviously I know people that in their first year have had single videos that have had 13,500 views. So I'm and have amassed more subscribers than what I have. But I think one of the kind of naiveties, I guess, of being a new YouTuber is obsessing over the numbers too much. It's just as I'm saying there's people that have done better than I have in terms of numbers, there's other people who I know who as well that have, would probably be really pleased with the numbers that I've had. So, don't obsess over that. Enjoy it first and foremost. I think would be my advice is that don't get too hung up on that. And I say it's not an insignificant number, and it's not, because to think that there's almost 400 people this year who have watched one of my videos and thought that actually I quite like what this person has to say, and or quite like them, or I like the personality or the vibe that I'm giving off, or whatever it is. It's quite humbling to think that many people would actually not just watch one of your videos, but also subscribe with a view to watching more of your videos. So it is quite humbling from that point of view. And for 13,500 views is not insignificant. Now I know a lot of them will probably bounced off in the first few seconds of a video, but that's fine. I think what you have to remember, I suppose, is that you're essentially asking strangers to to watch you for however long, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Everyone's time is their most valuable asset. You know, it's finite, and we all complain that we don't have enough time. So, you know, to think that there's people who don't know you, who are not just clicking on your video, but actually watching it, and maybe even going on to then watch some of your other videos, you know, it is quite humbling. And so if you've been doing YouTube for a year or longer, perhaps, and you're looking back and thinking that, you know, you just haven't had the numbers or the results that you'd hoped for, just remember that. You know, I think it's important to remember that, you know, you're asking a lot of people actually to watch you, and the fact that you have got people who have done that and have maybe repeatedly done that, you know, came back and watched all your future videos, or they've gone through and binge watched all your old videos, you know, them, you know, giving up their time shows that you must be doing something right. Even if it's, you know, you haven't got the big audience that maybe you'd hoped for. And I think that, and I know from like a lot of the comments and things that I get that my videos do help people. Now, I know they won't help everyone, and I know not everyone will sort of warm to me as a person. You know, some people will think that I'm a bit, you know, monotone, or, you know, not animated enough. But then equally, I know that the people who do watch me say that I've got quite a calming kind of influence and things like that. So you won't ever please everyone. You know, some people will take to you and some people won't. I dare say there's more people that if they found me would want to subscribe to the channel as well. But you know, it's about getting those videos in front of those people, and you know, that's my job ultimately, is to make the right types of videos for those people. And yeah, it's been an interesting one. But anyway, I mean, that's kind of my thoughts. You know, it is hard. It takes up a lot of time. You know, I have had highs and lows with it, and there is times that I've wanted to just kind of throw in the towel, but I'm glad that I haven't. You know, I'm glad that I've persevered. It's shown me that I can be disciplined and that I can commit to this. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in 2026. So anyone watching it that, you know, maybe is watching me for the first time, you know, if you are thinking about starting your own channel, you know, it's not easy, but you know, the things that are rewarding in life tend to not be easy. You know, sometimes you have to put in a bit of work, and if you enjoy the work, then even better. So, you know, to the people that have watched me before, whether you're a subscriber, whether you're a returning viewer that's watched one of my videos in the past, you know, thank you wholeheartedly for taking the time to watch. As I said, it is a lot to ask of people's time to watch my videos, and I am humbled by it. You know, I've responded, I think, to every comment that's been put on my videos, even the nasty ones, and there's been a couple of them. We'll save that for another day. But you know, yeah, I really appreciate it, and you know, it's I thought I'd make this video because when you reply to comments, I often think, like, you know, people think, oh well, they're just doing that for the engagement, to you know, to help YouTube think that, you know, the video is good, and to help extend the reach. And yeah, sure, like that does come into it, but like, no, I genuinely do want to reply to everybody, because not only has that person taken the time to watch my video, but they've also taken time to leave a comment. And sometimes that's just words of encouragement, or it might be, you know, saying kind of kudos on the video, that they really enjoyed it, or that they got help and value from it. Whatever it is, you know, to actually go out of your way to then leave a comment as well, I genuinely do appreciate that. And I'm small enough a channel that I can respond to everyone. So I do it because I genuinely want to. I genuinely want to thank people for taking the time. So I thought that, that might not always come across in text form. So why not make a video, just to say thank you to everyone that's watched, and especially those that have watched multiple videos or have subscribed. It is humbling, and whilst I maybe thought I might have more subscribers after a year, that was just maybe not unrealistic expectations, because I know people have grown their channels bigger in the time that I've been doing this. But I guess it's just not fully appreciating just how hard YouTube can be. But to have close to 400 people that have subscribed, it does mean a lot, because I realize how much goes into making the videos, and to I see people that have subscribed as a kind of acknowledgement of the effort that's been made, and so I am grateful to everybody that's done it. And I think I've learned that you don't need to have a ridiculously large audience to consider yourself successful on the platform. I think you can have a smaller subscriber count, but have a real community. And I do feel that, I see the kind of returning people who obviously who comment on the videos, and there's been friendships forged along the way, and that's really encouraging. I would rather have a small community of people that actually feels like a community than 100,000 kind of faceless subscribers who you don't have any interaction with. So yeah, if you ever start, and then think about how you measure the success of your channel. Don't obsess over the numbers. Think of the quality of the numbers, if that makes sense. So yeah, anyway, that was just a little video. I've probably spoken for longer than planned, as usual. But once again, thank you. If you're thinking about starting a channel next year, do it. You won't be disappointed. And I hope you have a great Christmas. I hope you have a great 2026, whether you make content or otherwise. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Okay.